Welcome to another episode of Open Up to Listen. We have three special guests. We have Brandon, Kendall, and Lawrence. You guys say what's up.
Oh, go ahead, Brandon. You can start.
Oh, what's up, world? How y'all doing, man? Me again. It's Brandon, for nothing.
Hey, man, I'm Kendall. Kendall, I got my Instagram at the bottom as well as my email. I help small businesses grow and help people invest into multifamily and mixed family projects.
Good morning. I'm Lawrence, out here from California. Here to be on this platform, share some advice, hear some advice, and hopefully make an impact.
And I'm Dom, the host of Open Up to Listen. And I also have a nonprofit working with kids. And we're about to start our flag football. So if you're in California, link up and you got kids from the ages of 5 to 12. All right, let's get this started. What would you guys say? Each one of you guys, what would you guys say is you guys' definition of what you guys think a good man is? Because I think some women may have it misunderstood as what a good man or what a good guy is. And I guess when it comes to the second part would be the guess to the question as far as why do you think good guys finish last?
Okay, I'll respond to that, and I'll start off with a story, something that happened to me when I was about 17, getting ready to turn 18. It was something that my mom said to me, and it stuck in my head. And this is probably where I started having an idea of what my perception of a good guy is. Um, I was about 17, 18, and ended up, connecting with a 25-year-old woman with two kids. And mind you, I'm still in high school, hadn't graduated from high school yet. And, talked to this lady on the phone for a while. And, my mom, she was only I was 17, so my mom was 15 years older than me. So she was like 32. So she was only a few years older than the lady. And one night, she asked if I could spend the night at her house. And so I said, well, hey, I got to get permission from my mom. So yes, I got the first woman's house I ever spent the night over. Got permission from my mom, or asked permission. So my mom told me, she said, well, doesn't she have kids? And I said, yeah, she does, but her sister's going to babysit. And she said to me, she said, I never left, you all with anybody to go be with some man. And I don't agree with this woman, doing that either. And then she said to me, she said, one thing I want you to understand is you can't have the cow without the milk. And if you have a woman and she's got children, she said, those are your kids too. And you have to treat them like that. And so I learned that at 17 years old. I had just got ready to turn 18. So all of my life, I, was always under the impression that if I date a woman that's got children, I have to treat them like they're my own. And, being present for them, being a good example for them. And, and I've had many girlfriends over the years that have had children. And I've had many of them call me dad. Many of them treat me like dad. They range from 1 year old, 2 year olds, all the way up to a previous relationship from this one, where I lived with this one lady for 3 years, and she had a 15-year-old daughter. And even before I moved in, she asked me, she said, hey, when are you going to move in with me? And, I explained to her, I said, you have a 15-year-old daughter there with you. And all she knows is estrogen. She hasn't been in a house living with a man, outside of her biological dad, they share custody of her. And I say, you talk to her first. And if she is okay with it, then yeah. And then you turn that third bedroom into my man cave. So those were my criteria. So she did that. And, I ended up moving in. I stayed with them until her daughter turned 18. But it was great. Her daughter was like, when is he moving in? She was excited because of the way that I interacted with her. And in with my wife now, she has two children, 27 and 26. And, they do look at me like that father figure. So I think good guys are those who step up. They come to the plate, whether it's their children or not. And, we provide, we fill in that void that space where those children can have someone that they can come to, they can talk to, and feel comfortable enough for you to be that father type figure. And and I don't want to make it seem like it's just only those of us that do that means that you're a good guy, because a good guy is many things to me. It's being present for your partner. It's doing what you can to make sure that things are taken care of for the house. Whether it's financially, whether it's repairs, whether it's anything. And we often get a bad rap, because it's oftentimes they feel like it's we're soft or we're easy, and they can get over on us and different things like that, and that's not the case, because I've been a bad boy. I know what it's like to run around 2, 3, 4 different girlfriends and things like that, and where they all knew about each other, to be running the streets and running wild, different things like that. But, you slow down, you start doing the right thing, you start being accused of stuff. What are you up to? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Who called you, or who's this? And it's like, wait a minute, I'm not doing anything. When I was doing stuff, there was no issue, and here it is now. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, being where I'm supposed to be, doing these different things, and the suspicion is greater than when I was actually out there in the streets doing all that stuff. And I think that that's one of those things. What quote unquote nice guys finish last. I don't think that many women truly know what it is to have a good guy. So when they get it, they almost feel like they need to walk over them. They need to, do whatever they can so they can have their cake and eat it too, to use a phrase. So I would say, that would be my assessment, in a sense, of nice guys finishing last.
Wow. I gotta first acknowledge, Lawrence, that there's no statute of limitation of a child
Mhm.
being used in that manner, so we are going to report that lady and put her to jail. Was on the other foot, we'll be having a different conversation. So everybody wants to be treated equal. We're going to report that 25-year-old for messing with a 17-year-old, but that's a topic for another.
Yeah. I turned 18 before I went there. I met her at 17. I met her at 17.
The crazy thing is that you made a great point. A good guy is a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we don't talk about that enough. Is a good guy is a bad guy, because a good guy has to do the dirty work.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've realized is that sometimes, Lawrence, is that we don't look at it that way. So, for example, is that if you came in and you was being a step parent, right? And she was being a mother, so she was probably like, I'm not gonna say I don't know the situation, but probably babying them, making them feel like everything they do is right. But you got to be like the man, like nah, this ain't cool, this ain't it. They not going there, they not doing that. Like, hey, I love you, but hey, it's a line that we got to draw here. It's like, I'm not here just to be here. Like, if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna help you become great, because kids are kids and kids gonna make mistakes, and if somebody doesn't correct them, then they're going to think that that's how life is supposed to be.
Yep.
So good guys usually finish last, and just like the nice guys, they usually finish last. So sometimes you just got to be a bad guy to finish first.
Yeah.
But it takes a strategic approach to do it. Like, you can't just be that guy. Like, you have to kind of be like, okay, let me understand the kid. Let me talk to the kid. Let me build a relationship. So then when you're not a bad guy, it's not like you're a mean guy. It's just that, okay, you'll understand later. Because sometimes mama bears, they think you trying to kill the cub. And it's like, nah, I'm trying to help the cub grow. So it just takes time and just being strategic. But good guys is, I'm not going to say I've never been a good guy, because, I think we all in the cupcake stage are somewhat of a good guy. But then after the cupcakes is gone, it's like, all right, now we're about to have a party, and this is not about to be pretty.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's definitely true. And, I've been on both sides of that with the discipline part. had to, hey, they shouldn't do this because XYZ. And I've been on the other side of it in the sense of, you know what? I think you should lighten up. You should lighten up because that's a little extreme. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's real tough, and you know, you see the world, and we see the examples of the men who are the bad guys and what they get. Not to say that it's always good for them either, but it just seems like it's rougher and it's tougher. It's like when we spoke about being a good dad and the stuff that we have to go through to even see our kids when we want to be in the picture. When I gave that example in a previous discussion that we had, it's rough, but I still choose to be the good guy. I still choose to be the nice guy.
Yeah, Lawrence, I got to challenge you on that one because the bad guys got a good life. The bad guys live. The bad people live longer. Everybody had a angry, mean grandma that lived better than your.
Facts.
Like they live longer. They don't have to ask for the
Right.
kids. The kids is getting dropped off on their doorstep, and the parent is pulling off. Like they don't have to go to court. They don't show up to court. Like
Yep.
they don't have to deal with the stress, and they live longer. So it's like the bad ones actually get the perks. The good
That's
ones
true.
gotta fight. Like it's like what the heck? And
Yeah.
I mean, if you just sit and think about the world, it's just like they love the bad guy. The villain is the one that gets the most attention. Like
Mhm.
nobody really cares about Batman but the kids. But everybody like, what Joker about to do next? Like
Yep.
everybody's sitting there. We can use Russell and Future because that was a big topic of example. Everybody's paying attention to what Future's doing, and he got more kids and more kids, but nobody really know what Russell doing. Russell helping the community, throwing footballs, creating programs.
hmm
It's like, oh, Russell. No, it's like, oh, Future. You hear Future said, you do check. It's like the bad guys get all the attention. They get all the
Yeah.
perks. He ain't
Yeah.
even take care of his kids, and they still buying his CDs. Like, come on, like let's talk about it. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying he's not. Let me back up and say that. I just know I have a brother that has multiple children. I think 13 exact. And I know with me just having 3, it's hard to be in your kid's life with 13. Like so I'm not saying he's not. I don't know his life. I don't know his situation. He may be. I don't believe what the media say. But would it like I know he can physically have a career and take care of multiple kids. Like it's just impossible as a human being. But the bad guys get all the perks, man. Man, some days I'd be wanting to be bad because I'm like, dang, you telling me if I act like I don't want the kid, they'll drop the kid off to my house?
Yeah, reverse psychiatrist, the chest. Yes.
It's just I think the bad guys. It's crazy how the world because the nice one got to fight. It's like you fighting for nothing. I'm fighting to see something that I created that you really don't want to deal with, but you just want to make me mad. But then when I don't want to act like I don't want to be bothered, then it's like, no, you need your baby this week. Oh, for real? And you just adapted. And I'd have done that before. I let Brandon go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon. You've been a nice guy all your life.
I'm gonna let Domino take this one, man.
No,
All right.
you gotta say something on the
I
good
am, I
guys
am,
first,
I
and
am.
so you
mean,
just want me to go first?
yeah, man.
All right. Whew. I think when it comes to the good guy, I think it's a battle. It's a battle when okay, when you've been let's just say a bad guy or the person that didn't have to worry about women, you didn't have to worry about all the different things that came, that came with it because it came easy when you was out there doing your dirt and doing things. There was no issues. When you start to try to, let's just say, change your life or start to realize, you know what, I've been down this path. I do want to settle down. I do want, these different things. And when you do try to become the good guy, it's like a lot of things that you would think, envision, whether it's family, whether it's okay, I want to have kids, whether, a lot of things are you think it's going to go well, it's the opposite, to allude to what Kendall was saying. And I think the hardest thing, rather you're heartbroken, rather, you're trying to do everything right, let's just say in a situation or a circumstance relationship, you you're doing all these things that the good guy do, but then when you look at it and you know how things were before you were the good guy, and you look at how you was treated
Mm-hmm.
when you was the bad guy, you start to you have somewhat of a, I'm not gonna say epiphany, but you just kind of have to battle. Okay, do I want to go left or right? Because I think we all reach a point to where it's just like, okay, we're good. We're trying this good thing out, but it's not looking good as far as the drama you got to go through, the stress you got to go through, whether you're going to be there, if you're in a situation, being there for the kids, being there for some, for some stepkids that's not yours. And then you're looking at how, oh, okay, I'm just go with this person that not even spending time with the kids, don't care about the kids. And you be looking at the situation like, am I missing something? But then when you go back to what you was doing before, when you was, just be honest, when you was boyfriend number two, you didn't care about being boyfriend number two because you was doing the things that you wanted to do and you wasn't trying to necessarily be right to one individual. That's easy. And it ain't come with no drama with the kids. It ain't come with no drama with no other female because you could be like, kick rocks. I'm about to do me. I may have someone else coming in, where I don't have to worry about you. But the moment you try to, settle down or be good and hang up, your player role, then it's like you in a situation like, you know what? I want to go back because this is more difficult than when I was doing my dirt and doing my thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardest thing is trying to stay the straight and narrow because
Mm-hmm.
you get pulled back, whether it's you at work or you out somewhere and someone as a female is trying to approach you and you be kind of, I mean, guys, we do it. We kind of, let me just throw this out there, see if I still got it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay, do I take the bait or do I don't take the bait? And I think as men, when you are growing, you have to kind of understand, okay, this is right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you tired of BS, that's when we kind of go back to our old ways. And I think the constant battle, for men who did that in the past
Mm-hmm.
and know what it's like to be the bad guy and know the perks of what Kendall was saying to be the
Mm-hmm.
bad guy and then the struggle to fight to try to be the good. Knowing I got to deal with this, and you look at your life in the past where
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, man, I had my own place. I had, females coming in left and right. I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
worry about have to get. It's just you get to a point where we have to make a decision. Do we want to go and be good or want to go bad? And it sucks that it's like that, but I don't think females be understanding. It's just like you don't realize when I'm with you and I'm good, I was really a savage.
Yeah.
You didn't see that because I'm trying to be good to you. But if I go back to my savage ways, then, oh, he's a dog, he's this. But it's just like we have to try to come to that, solution to where, okay, this is what we want to do. And the hope is, and taking a chance in being vulnerable for that woman in hopes to treat us that way. And then I think that's where, when it comes to guys, you have guys who are bad, you have guys who aren't. And I think the guys who are bad got to the point to where when they were good, they got their heart got broken, whatever, they just said, forget it. I'm gonna do me because this is what I know. And I think that's the hard part because I know I was there where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like I ain't had none of these issues. I was never heartbroken. I was, doing my thing to now I'm heartbroken. And like, man, I don't want to deal with this. No one wants to be heartbroken. I don't want that feeling. I like that feeling I was getting when it was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm about to go do what I'm gonna do. We gonna do this, and then after you leave, I may have someone else come. You get what I'm saying? So it's just it's the battle of like they say when it comes to in cartoons when they have like the angel on this side and then it's like the demon on this side, and it's like you got to choose if I'm gonna be a good guy or I'm gonna be a bad guy. And unfortunately, like he said, when it comes to the world today, a lot of them like the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
and like to allude to why the good guys finish last is because they're trying to do everything right, but it gets to the point where I'm there. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm taking care of someone else's kids. I'm being there financially. I'm doing all those things, what we think we're supposed to do, but it still don't work out. So it's just like, why be a good guy when this is gonna happen? So it's
Mhm.
just a constant battle of want to be a good guy or not want to be a good guy based off of circumstance. And unfortunately, the women we choose that we want to settle down with, because I think that's the biggest factor. But I
Mhm.
think for people watching, hopefully weeding through the BS when you're dealing with a female, because I think that a lot of them have kind of like they feel about guys, but they have like, I'm gonna just wear this mask until I get them. I got them locked in. Okay, now I'm gonna take my mascara off and I'm gonna show 'em who I really am.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's
That's
my
why you
take.
take. That's why for the first day you take her to the beach so she can get that mask off. But
Yo, that's stupid.
hey,
That's
Dom, I got
stupid.
a question. I got a question for y'all. I got a
Hold on,
question.
hold on. I want to hear.
No, you just, yeah, we're gonna hear Brandon. You just made a
I,
valid point though. Have you ever, like, it's just follow up question afterwards. Have you ever, like, a woman ever told you, like, you're not the guy that I fell in love with? And it just kind of go back to what you said, the good and the bad guy. You was the bad guy when she fell in love, then she got you. She tamed the lion, and now all of a sudden it's like,
Ah,
I don't like the lion being tamed.
woo!
I want the lion to be.
that haven't happened to me. Thank God for
Oh, it
that. That
haven't.
haven't
ain't
happened.
never
I
All
don't, no,
right,
I
go
don't
ahead,
know about that.
Brandon.
That's a whole nother topic. No, go ahead, Brandon.
Uh, I mean, I all right. So I had to let y'all go first because I don't know really what a bad guy or or a good guy looks like, and I say that because we all bad guys in somebody's story. You feel what I'm saying? If that makes sense to y'all, like so. I mean, I guess my thing about being a good guy or bad guy, I think it just depends on if you care or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you care? You know what I mean? And if you don't care about the person you're dealing with or the kids that you're involved with, you're definitely going to be a bad guy, whether you want to or not. You get what I'm saying? So as far, I would say I'm a damn good guy. I'm a fucking great catch. You get what I'm saying? But you can ask some women from my past, is like, nah. You know what I mean? He was a horrible guy. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was young. He was doing this. He was doing that. But as far as that whole stepkid thing goes, man, I think that comes like you gotta know when that's not, you know what I mean, appropriate. Like I heard what you said, um, Lawrence, about your mom taught you, like, like you got to take care of them kids. Yes, and that was something that my mom taught me as well. But my mom also kind of made it clear to me that I can't do that with every woman. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So,
Mhm.
like now I have done it, like with my last relationship, like I raised two children, like from 3 and 2. Like, you know what I mean? They are 16 and be 15 in November. You know what I mean? They call
Mhm.
me dad. I still take care of things that pertains to them, you know what I mean? From football to school clothes to basketball, to talking them through
Mhm.
things to, everything, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
in that aspect, yeah, I would say I was a good guy with her. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I might not I might have been a bad guy with this one over here. Not that I was trying to be, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Not that that was my intentions. Like I had no intentions on being a good guy, but your definition of a good guy, me being a good guy to this woman might look good to her, but me being a good guy to another woman might look like shit.
Mhm.
I still think I'm a good guy. You know what I mean? I'm not a shit bag. Like I'm not a womanizer. I don't beat women. I don't, you know what I mean? My problem is most of the time is if I hang with a woman, I can't find a woman that just wants to have fun with me. They all want to, oh, I like you. I want to be with you. I want to, like you're such a good guy, like you're this, you're that. Now I don't know if it's a something they see in me or what, but I ain't never had one that's like, yo, hey, I just want to hang out. You going about your business. I going, like it never works out for me. So in that part, so I would say I'm a damn good guy. Apparently, you know what I mean. But like I said, to other people, I might not seem that way. I might not come
Mm,
off that way. It might not seem like I'm a family oriented guy. It might not seem like I'm, this old caring person. But I think the difference between a good guy and a bad guy is just your level of care for that person or for that situation. I don't want to say person, but the situation. Because you can be a bad guy. I don't necessarily have
mm,
to be in a relation. Be a bad guy in many walks. You know what I mean? So I think it's just the amount of care you give to a certain situation, but you're always going to be a bad guy in somebody's story because somewhere along the line, someone's going to feel like you didn't do or you didn't fulfill what they needed you to fulfill, even though you fulfilled what you wanted to fulfill. You get what I'm saying, or what you deemed necessary to fulfill. So that good guy, bad guy shit, I think it's just, it just depends on how much you care about that situation. So I really didn't have a great answer for you guys as far as why do good guys finish last, because hell, bad guys finish last too. You know how many guys I know right now, was shit bags, dirt bags, and don't nobody mess with them. They 50, 60 years old. They living with a cat. Ain't nobody checking for them. And their kids don't fuck with them. But so
mm.
you telling me good guys finish last? No. No, 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 no. Some of them bad guys in the nursing home right now. You get what I'm saying? So it don't always good guys don't finish last if you ask me. You feel what I'm saying? You stay true to yourself. You feel what I'm saying? If your nature and your character is good and your upbringing was good and you know what I mean, and your mindset is good, everything else would carry. So as far as being I feel like I'm a good guy in my book. So I don't care about who thinks I'm a bad guy or what situation we had to make you feel like I'm a bad guy, because to the people that love me and the people that I love, I'm a great guy. And that's why they love me. You get what I'm saying? So that's my take on being a good guy or being a bad guy. Good guys don't finish last, man. Depends on how you look at it. My cup is always half full. It ain't never half empty. So yeah, I might go through little shit, being a good guy. Like I might go through having to deal with female problems or being taken for granted or being used in the wrong way. But that's me, and I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's me to be used, but that's like my character is like I have a loving and nurturing character. Like I take care of my people, even when it bites me in the ass. You know what I mean? So it's I'm a good guy to the ones that love me. Everybody else that think I'm a bad guy, you got to talk to them and see their side of the story. But it's always two sides. One side you're gonna be good, one side you're gonna be the villain.
And it's
But
the
I
truth. So
always feel like I always feel like it's your story, so you tell it how you want to tell it. I've never mind being the villain in your story because, like I said, the ones that know me and the ones that love me already know. So
oh, okay. I want to say something to kind of what you said. I think even like when it comes to, let's just say you was young and you was doing that. When it comes to guys, I think it also comes when it comes to growth. Because I know
yeah,
I was bad. I know based off of like when you understand, you start to grow from what you know you were to to what you are now. There's no secret. Yeah, I was bad, and yes, a lot of things that work. What I'm saying is, when you are good and you take the time to start taking accountability for your actions, to start to do things different that you know you did bad, you start to see, dang, a lot of these difficulties that you did not have before start to happen. So when it comes to choosing to be a bad guy and choosing to be a good guy, it's completely different because you're constantly going after that battle because it's almost like you having money and then you losing it. You know what it's like to be bad. You know what it's like to go when you didn't have to worry about stressors that you did not have because you were choosing that path. But when you're
mhm,
choosing to be good, there's always difficulties. There are always negative things that kind of want you to go back. So when you, let's just say you go through what you went through, right? You experience your heartbreak. A lot of people, what I did initially would be like, okay, let's just say it was something that happened that was off-settling. Oh, I'm about to go, let's just say, example, I'm about to go have sex. I'm going to continue to do it. That's my coping mechanism so I don't deal with the real situation. And I think when you start to grow and you deal with the real situation, that's where the growth come in. And I think a lot
mhm,
of guys don't necessarily tap in and deal with that real situation because okay, keep pushing and don't ever deal with it. So you may end up seeing guys who are 50, 60 because they never dealt with the situation and now they're in that situation when it comes to, let's just say, being bad or good. So I think that was a good perspective when you said, it all depends on who's saying that you're a good guy. I agree with that. But I think it also comes with, as men, growth when it comes to whether we choose to deal with certain things or we don't. And then do we grow from it and take accountability for our actions or we don't? And that's the difference, I feel.
What is the definition of a good and a bad guy? That's the I think that's the question we
It's
need to ask.
opinionated, bro. It's
Yeah,
opinionated, and that's what I meant by saying that I didn't have a definition for you because, like I said, Ken, you could think I'm a shitbag. Dominique could think I'm a great person. That is all opinionated. You get what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
all opinionated. So I mean, if I'm gonna speak for me, dog. Like I live my life as 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 correct as I can. You feel me? Like I'm not a horrible person. I care about people. You feel me saying? Like those are qualities that I value. Like so I you know what I mean? Like I think I'm a good guy. But like I said, it is other people there is people out there that may think you are a bad guy, but that does not matter. As long as you stay true to who you are and you have your reason and your feelings are valid and your reasons are valid, you get what I'm saying? Nobody can say that you're a good guy or a bad guy.
That's why, for me, it's like I'm just trying to figure out the definition. It's in the eye of the beholder, because if we look culture to culture, people that got multiple wives, we'd be like, "Oh, that's a bad guy." I mean, he got multiple wives, but he's taking care of all his wives. I mean, not us, but in some people's
I ain't never
eyes,
thought that.
in some people's eyes, that's like, "Oh, that's a bad guy. He got multiple wives." It's like, nah, it works for him. And then what Dom said, I'm telling the girls that I have other women, but then there's one that's like, "Oh, you a bad guy because you got multiple women." Like, who said you was the one? Like, let's start there. Like, who died and made you number one? Like, I'm just saying, it's like, and the thing is, like, some people be like, oh, well, you shouldn't mess with multiple women. And I'll just be like, I get the American concept. I get it. But how can you ever, and men, women too, how are you ever going to learn yourself? Like, how do you know yourself? How do you figure out yourself? Like, okay, you're not messing with multiple women, but how do you find what you like and what you don't like? How do you figure out what you go put up with and what you not go put up with if you don't interact with multiple women? Because multiple women has personalities, so it's not like, hey, you ain't got to be stupid with all of them, but we just kicking it. I'm like, I don't really like that. That was cool. But to somebody else, it's like, oh, he's a bad guy because he's talking to all these women. I'm not having sex with them just because they go out to eat don't mean nothing. But people's perception is like, nah, you just need to lock into one. So the first dog you see, that's the one you go buy for the rest of your life.
Hey, you
It's
wow.
just
Well,
it's
there,
just a
there,
wild scenario, right? It's the first one you see. Like,
when
don't
you
even
put it
look
like
at the
that,
rest.
you just
The first one
throw
that
all
comes,
your ducks in one basket.
that's the one. Nobody when
But
that
see,
that's the
but
one.
see, but see, it just like it becomes complicated because that's what women do because they do a lot of things with feelings. We don't really do that. So I know it's a disconnect there with understanding why we do that shit, right? Because like a woman will meet you, y'all can go out a couple times, y'all can even do it, have sex. You get what I'm saying? She immediately starts to build this thing for you, and it's not a bad thing. Like it's normal. It happens. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times, some of these women will kind of stop what they're doing. Not all of them, but some of them will kind of stop what they're doing to entertain and put that focus into one, right? Whereas we think kind of like you can, like if I don't know, how do I know? You get what I'm saying? Like if I don't figure out, how would I know? Like you know what I mean? So it's just seeing it from two different. They just
Yeah, I think you're going out,
Yeah,
Brandon.
he going
you
out.
know we do
But
men.
Breaking up.
Brandon, I think you're going
Oh,
out.
can you hear me?
Yeah, you. I think
Yeah, we hear you
it's
now.
starting. I think he went out. Yeah, but Lawrence, like Lawrence said, I mean, let's just use Lawrence as an example. Lawrence was 17 dating that 25-year-old. That was his first catch. That was his first catch. Just think, that was his first catch. That means Lawrence, you're supposed to be married to her for the rest of her life and your
Y'all, can
life.
y'all hear me?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
good now. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Now what you
Yeah,
say?
you
I'm
you
sorry.
was going in. Your network started messing up because you was going in.
yeah, you was going in. It didn't want us to hear the
Where I leave
rest.
off at, man. I'm sorry.
Hey, just start mid sentence.
That's what I'm saying. I've kind of forgot where I was because the phones because y'all can't hear
Nah,
me,
you
so I
was
kind of
talking about just
lost my
catching
place.
just the first person you interact with. Like, is
Yeah.
that's the one? Because
Yeah, right, right. Okay, yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like we just operate from two different, you know what I'm saying, from two different sides in two different ways. We're just kind of wired different. Like we're men. That's what we do. Like that is.
Mhm.
I mean, before before you give you clothes and intelligence, all that. Before we had intelligence, all this shit and all, we were eating, sleeping, shitting, and humping since the beginning of time, bro. Like that's you know what I'm saying. So as men, that's just what we do. So that whole oh like he's a bad guy for messing with different women and all that stuff. No, like most 90% of men are kind of like made up that way. Like there's a few guys that I guess you would consider good guys that do that. You know what I mean? But for the most part, yeah, that's kind of how we pick and choose. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we don't just take the first girl that be like, oh, she cooked me a meal. Oh man, I'm chilling. Oh man, her kids is well behaved. I'm chilling. Oh man, you know what I mean? Oh, her Wi-Fi busting. I'm chilling. Like nah, because a lot of that shit we can do for ourselves. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things. There are some shit that women feel like they can't do without a man, or they refuse to do without him, or they shouldn't be doing without a man because they can do a lot of shit. Most everything that we can do, they can do. Some women feel like they shouldn't be doing certain things. A man should be doing certain things. Get what I'm saying? So
hey, Brandon, you just
what?
made a valid point. It's something that I think we need to. Me and you can touch on. Lawrence and Dom probably don't understand. Dom a little bit, but he ain't in the market no more. Being like it's hard. It's easier for you to be a bad guy in a small market, which I say Columbus, Ohio, is a small market. And Dom and Lawrence is in a big market where it's Los Angeles, where you can move and people don't really talk as much. They
Mhm.
have this group saying, "Are we dating the same guy in Columbus, Ohio?" So every guy is a bad guy. And then they get referrals because everybody knows who you date. And I tell people all the time, like, when have an ex gave a great referral? I haven't met an ex yet that gave me a great referral. I haven't met nobody else's ex that gave him a great referral. Like, I have not met an ex that was like, you know what, you should date him. He's amazing. I think that man is the best thing ever. But
I have, I
do,
have,
do. You better
I
watch out for
have,
this. I haven't met one.
I
I think I'm not a great catch, but I'm like one of the catch that you get that you surprised. Like, oh my God, I caught him. Like, I don't think I'm the best catch at the bottom of the sea, the big fish, but I'm like, oh, that's a pretty decent one. I'll take it. But like, you got the small markets of Columbus where it's like everybody talk. It's like it's easy to find out who you talk to. It's easy to know. And then they go get a referral from a ex or a friend. And then you got the big markets like California where basically y'all probably don't even talk in the same circle. So it's just like it's totally different when we talk about good guy and bad guy. And I had to think about it. I said, dang, their definitions. Dominique can go for both definitions because he's been on both sides. But it's different for the people in smaller markets than it is for the bigger markets. Because the
Mhm.
smaller markets, a lot of
Mhm.
people know each other. Like it's small.
Mhm.
But in the bigger markets, like you can go to San Bernardino, you go to Los Angeles, you can go to
Mhm.
all those other different counties, and it's big, and they
Mhm.
all got their own
Mhm.
different market, different pool. So it's like
Mhm.
it's really, really different. Lawrence probably ain't never ran across the girl that he messed with when he was 17 because the market is so big. But in Columbus, you probably gonna run across that person probably 2 or 3 times.
I was in Louisiana, in Monroe, Louisiana, when I met that one.
Oh, so that wasn't even in California. So yeah, so that's what I'm like. It's just
Yeah,
it's a
but
different when we talk about markets though. Like markets, when we having that good bad guy conversation, it's different per market. I believe, but
yeah,
I mean that's just my opinion. Go ahead, Lawrence.
You're actually right. In psychology, there's a term that we use. It's called a pool of eligibles, and everyone's pool of eligibles is different. It could be geographically different because it's a smaller market,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be your socioeconomic status that puts you in a larger pool market or pool of eligibles, which is the actual term for it. And it can be small or large depending on your status, depending on your social upbringing, depending on all of those socioeconomic factors. Um, but I've never gotten a you mentioned referral, and there was I can't mention one female who I was with and left her, left her alone, but it was for her insecurity, her this, her that. But we still stayed in touch as friends. We still would communicate. We're still Facebook friends, and my wife, she knows, about her. I've told her about her. But she'd always, when I would meet someone new, I talk to her, about her. And she would, you're a good guy. I know I messed up. And, that's the first and only time that's happened with an ex, and she would always, as long as they don't do this, because I know you'll be gone if they do this, or if they say that, or if they don't do this, you'll be out, and so it has happened in a sense, and like I said, not a referral where she talked to that person, but it was a reaffirmation or a confirmation for me that you know what, you're actually a really good dude. But I wanted to go back to that, and really try to get down to how we even understand, like the question that Don presented. Why do bad guys, good guys finish last? And I think it starts from even how we understood what good guy, bad guy meant in the context of what he was asking. And for me, my understanding, it was, um, you know, that street dude versus that nerd, you know, and I've been on that side. I've been on both sides. Yes, I'm college educated and all this stuff, but I've been on that street side. And I know what being a hood dude is like in all of the accolades and the different stuff that come, um, and how that felt. I mean, I was a DJ in high school, and so I had that fame. I was an athlete, good student, so I had all of that, but I was still, it was just fun. It was exciting, like Don was mentioning, having your own place, I ain't got to worry about you coming over and doing these things, and I'm living my life and I'm out there. It's when you living like that, that's that quote unquote bad boy. I give no F's about what you got going on in your feelings. And then once you start being the quote unquote good guy, the guy that's responsible, the guy that's caring, the guy that's loving. And I say this, we were always that way. I was always that way. I chose to suppress that side. It wasn't like I had to learn how to be loving. I've always been that way. Just like Brandon said, it, we this is who we are. We are caring. We are loving. But it's when I was in that life, I suppressed that part. I suppressed that part, and it was like, okay, I'm about to do my thing. I'm about to have fun. I remember, I had made the comment earlier that, I've had 2 to 3 girlfriends at once, and they all knew about each other. And that happened off of a fluke. I was in my house, answered my own phone, and I went in the hallway. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I hiding from this girl that's here talking on my phone in my house? So I said, I'm not doing that again. I was 22. That next time that phone rang, I told her to answer it. And she answered it. And then she gave me the phone, and I talked to the girl right next to her. And when I hung it up, she was like, "Who is that?" I said, "Well, so and so. I met her about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. But you here, she's not." Oh, okay. They started calling each other. Are you going to be over there this weekend with him? Because I want to come spend the night. No, I ain't going to be there this weekend. You can come
Oh, you're
over.
dropping your
So
nuts, huh?
they were
All right.
coordinating.
You was dropping
They
your
were
nuts, son.
coordinating.
Okay. Yeah.
I was
All
22.
right.
So, and my brother was like, "Damn, dude, you could have been a pimp." I'm like, "Nah, I ain't no pimp." So, but it was I owned the bad boyness. I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm a rapper. I'm on the radio. I'm doing my thing, and it's all good. Yeah, hey, this is what it is. But as I got older, started realizing, I like being married. I love being in a relationship with one woman. That felt better than the fun. So I started realizing, like, hey, I can't do it this way, and I got to do something different. And so that bad boy image I had to drop that. Every now and then something happened, I'll say something, and my wife, she'd be like, "Ooh, man, that's that side of you that I ain't used to seeing." Not in a bad way, but
Mhm.
just that assertiveness, that dominance. Like, no, this is what it is, and this is what it's not. We can communicate, we can talk, but in this instance, I got the last say. You know, um, but I think it was in that. So it's having to really express how I understood, or how we all understand the question, what that means to us, but then also, what does bad boy mean to a woman? What does good guy mean to
Mhm.
a woman? Their
Mhm.
perspective of it shapes how we interact with that, how we, shape our lives, because they can say, the bad boy is the one who's the hood dude, or they might say the bad dude is the one that ain't taking care of responsibility. So, it's that bad with the positive connotation and that bad with the negative connotation. And
Dogs out here
starting
wilding.
from that with the definition and saying, okay, for like for me, when he mentioned that, I was like, hood dude versus nerd. And I've been both. I am both. Nothing. I tell people I'm still the same dude that I was back then. I'd have been shot. I'd have been stabbed 7 times. I'm still that same dude. Yes, I'm educated. I have degrees on the wall. My wife, our degrees are on the wall. And I'm like, so that still didn't change who I am. It didn't stop. You know, but I make better choices now. I choose to be
Mhm.
that good dude, loving dude, kind dude, but I could still be that, hey, this is what it is. I mean, we go to this VFW, this veterans bar up the street, and I become an impromptu bouncer. I mean, I've been a bouncer before. When I got out the army, that was my first job. But I'm always breaking up fights. I'm always doing these things because everybody else is calm. They're timid. They don't want to get involved. And it's not the kind of place that you need a bouncer. But I'm always talking to these dudes, breaking up stuff. That image of being that protector, not only of my immediate people that I care about, but these people that I'm around. Because if God blessed me with these abilities, black belt in Taekwondo, been in the military, done all of these things, if I have these abilities, I got to use them, you know? Um,
Mhm.
so I kind of let that come out then, not in an aggressive way, but just in a way where they understand my business, you know? But I just want to put that part, the understanding bad boy in the context of how I understood the question. That shapes my answer. It shaped Ken's answer. It shaped Brandon's answer because we all understood it in a certain way, you know. So I just wanted
Mhm.
to put that.
Well, I have a question, but I do want to say to one of the things that Brandon has said when it comes to just how guys operate, and when Kendall alluded to, oh, you just pick one, one female. That's the first one I see. I think when you understand the levels, and this is just being real, rather women would like to admit it or not, to every guy, average, it's like 7 to 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you start to change the dynamics when you are a black man and you're
Mm-hmm.
successful.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's seven
Because
to
half of
one.
them are gay and half of them are jumping in and out of prison. So it's a shortage. It's a damn shortage. It ain't many of us out here left. So the ones out here that's left, them the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say what it
I
is,
don't know.
bro.
I
You get
don't
what
know
I'm
if I should
saying?
call you Stephen A. Smith
Or,
or
or,
Shay Shay.
or, or, or they messing with white women. So, bro, y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's a dying at a rapid
So,
rate,
so,
bro. We dying
So.
at a rapid rate.
Mm-hmm.
They gay. They
Mm-hmm.
switching over to white women. You get what I'm saying? Like it's bro. Listen, man. It's listen, dog. They don't even want to talk about all that stuff. You get what I'm saying? So a lot
Brandon,
of times you might be, if you ain't locked in, you probably sharing. You probably sharing.
Brandon, you just made a valid point. Like, and I want to ask you that because you're passionate right now. What do you feel like is wrong with our community? With our
What you
community?
mean?
Like you just said, like a lot of the men are going to other sides of the street and crossing the street and hopping over to the countries and moving around, and they not locked in with the black women. Like, what do you feel like is wrong in our community? The reason why a lot of them are like, you know what, it's time to go test the other waters.
I mean, because it's oh shit.
You opened it.
It can be,
Oh,
bro. It can be, bro. It can be somewhat difficult. All right. First of all, before I say this, I've never dated outside my race. Okay. Don't plan on it. You know what I mean? I love my black women. I don't care how much gray hair they give me, how much stress I go through with them, how many times I crash out bottom. I love my black women, but they can be kind of difficult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say what it is. Like, like they can be kind of difficult. Some of them don't know how to talk to you. Some of them don't know how to approach situations. A lot of them didn't grow up communicating and knowing how to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them didn't have would you say Lawrence, you said you came into a house that had no no man in it. You get what I'm saying? It was all that feminine. So a lot of them just they don't know how to take us. They only know one way. And the one way that they was showed is not the one way that they saw was not it's not it's not carrying over well right now because men are starting to understand their worth, bro. So when you start thinking about what you worth and what you're dealing with, black women can be a little tough to deal with at times. And I'm not bashing black women or no shit like that, bro. I'm just saying from what I see, from what I hear, you know what I mean, from what I've done. Like I was in the military too. I've dealt with women of other races, you know what I mean? Like most of the but the women I've had long relationships with have been black women. And I've dealt and to be honest with you, dude, I have not dealt with women that I knew were completely different from, my my women, my culture, with my black women. And I knew that those things, but that shit kind of turned me off a little bit, which was like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? Like I didn't got so used to having that difficulty with dealing with them that when I don't have it, I don't feel right. That could be the
Okay.
toxic part of
hey,
me.
bro.
That could be, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But like, I mean, but I don't know, bro. I love my black women, but they can be difficult. And a lot of men will say that. I'm not gonna turn my back on them though, because that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? That's
so let me
Hold,
dive in.
hold
So
on, quick down.
hold
Hold
on.
on.
I
I
just
just,
I just want to I just want to say hold on, let me just say this because I think Brandon brought a good point and to just kind of expound on it. Why, like, where does this come from? I think historically it comes from the the trauma from whether your dynamic of you growing up, whether you living in a house with a, let's say a daughter is living in a house with another black, her black mom, and all she know is trauma because she didn't have a good relationship or the dad's not there. So it becomes a cycle because what she's doing is
or her
she's
mama
teaching
was
what
having
she know.
suckers in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's teaching what she know. So she's teaching her daughter at a young age, excuse my language, but this is quote unquote, oh, these niggas ain't shit. You get what I'm
down,
saying? And then
down.
when it come down to guys, you got to look at the guys on us why we make it be difficult because of our situation or the things that was taught to us,
Hmm.
whether from our mom, that single mom, or just from the streets
I
from
was
what we
about to go
see.
there
So
next.
I
Yeah.
think when it comes to the black community in general, I think it's dysfunction from the beginning. So when
On
they're
both
getting
sides.
yeah, on both sides. So
Yeah.
now it's just like when they're grown, now it's these different conflict that they're trying to fix, not understand where it came from, but all that stuff came from childhood from what they taught. And it's like I think for me, I would speak for myself in the situation with my environment and things that I learned. I didn't learn how to love until I was 33. You get what I'm saying? From understanding, okay, what it is to be a man, what it is to, okay, how to love, how to do this, because I wasn't taught that. And then I had to think about it like, dang, well, I'm looking at these women. A lot of these women are very similar. Not they're the same, but they're very similar. But you got to look at their household. You look at their mom. You look at certain things. You're like, dang, okay, I see the apple don't fall too far from the tree. But you got to also understand the dynamic of both the male and the female and what has happened from not their fault, but things that they learned when they was young.
Right. So it's definitely a miscommunication on both sides, and I think one of the biggest ones is that we don't take the time to try to learn and understand each other. You know what I'm saying? Like it always comes off as a combative thing or anything like that. So I'm not just saying like it's difficult to date black women, but it's difficult for black women to date black men as well. It's because we don't take the time to try to understand each other and try to sit on both sides of that, try to look at it through both lenses, you know what I mean? And a lot of times men find it that you don't have to do that with those other races. And like I said, coming from the military, I know a lot of them brothers that, what I'm saying, went to the other side. I ain't mad at you. You know what I mean? I've asked them why, you know what I mean? Like, why do you do that? You know what I'm saying? A lot of black men can't handle the strength of black women. Okay, let's start there as well. A lot of you niggas ain't prepared for that type of shit that a black woman is gonna give you. You get what I'm saying? So you will jump over there because you feel like that you can come and go, do what you do, and move how you please without being checked. That's not that type of game when you're dealing with my women, bro. You know what I'm saying? So and so to answer your question, Ken, that's why I said what I said, because some of these black men, that's how they feel. Black women are too difficult to deal with. I personally feel like those are weak men. You get what I'm saying? There ain't no woman that I can't deal with if I like her or if I want to be with her. It don't matter the ethnicity, none of that. If I want you and I want to deal with you, I can deal with you. You get what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
Brandon, you forgetting the X factor though, man. Y'all
what's
both
up?
you and Dom forgetting the X factor. Like y'all talking about childhood, y'all forgetting the major X factor of the whole problem in our community.
Go
It's
ahead.
entertainment. They think entertainment is reality. They believe that the Cardi B's is what I want to be. The who's the other one? The Megan Thee Stallions is what I want to be.
Mm,
I cuss a dude out. Fuck a nigga. Like I don't care about him. Like I don't need one. I neck but be
nah, well, no, I
one.
don't know. I don't think it's entertainment because my grandmama was checking shit. You understand what I'm saying? My grandmama
No.
was checking shit. My great aunties was checking shit. So it's not about what they seeing now. Like I said, it's about black women are very strong creatures, and it takes another strong creature to deal with that. It's not nothing about what they seeing and what they want to be, because you got the power as the man. You also hold a lot of power that you can change that as well. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of that shit is glorified by us. So while we sit here and we have a
Hold on, Brandon.
problem
You
with it,
said we
while we
have a
sit
lot of
here, we have
power.
a problem with it. We watch it, we entertain it, we like it on Instagram, we put it in an algorithm, all that, bro. So it's not just a one-sided thing. So until you come to where you
No,
can
it's
look at it from both sides, bro, you're never going to
Brandon.
have an understanding. It's always
no,
going
but
to be
no.
difficult.
Well,
Brandon,
well,
listen.
hold on,
Hold on.
Brandon,
Hold on. Hold
hold
on.
on. I do think it's not just one though, because I will say I think Kendall has a point, because if you look at some of these females nowadays, we're talking about the nowadays. I understand, like back in the day when things was being said, that was the foundation. I'm with you on that, Brandon. But the nowadays, you got women who are in their 30s talking about they want to still be outside because of what's being said, and their kids are left at home.
When you
Real
say
talk.
nowadays, what do you mean nowadays? Nowadays, as far as like what? Like, are we talking about as far as
I would say the
generations
last five. Yes,
over
Yes.
the last
absolutely.
5 years?
Talking about my what is it? What the girls say that they're allowing now? My booty hole pink, whatever the case is. You got this is the
Man, listen,
generation that's
bro.
being taught,
Bro,
and it's just like you got to
bro, this
look
was
at what
going on in the 80s, bro. This was going on in the 70s.
it
All right,
Nah,
bro.
is, but
It
the
was
it
hot
80s
is
ass
music was
women.
different,
different.
bruh.
It was
The
No,
hot
80s
ass
music
I
women
was
for a long
different.
disagree,
time.
bro.
The
It
80s
was, but
music was
this is
different.
different. This
It
is
was
different, bro.
different. You had
Well,
Prince,
of
you had
course it's
You ain't
different.
never
You're
heard it.
in a
You never
different day
heard a
and
song
age.
like that.
Things, things you said in the last 5 years, you ain't never heard a song like that, bro. Trina dropped that You Know Nan shit almost 20 years ago.
But
No,
no,
We
I
were
but
get
hearing
you had
that.
songs
more
like that. What
options.
I'm
No,
saying
You
to
had
y'all
more
is, bro,
listen
options,
to the
Brandon.
it
Brandon,
lyrics
look,
though.
bro,
That
it
wasn't
only,
on the
bro, it
radio. She's literally
it on
saying she's having kids saying my booty hole pink
it
and my
okay,
don't,
like,
now,
come
bro.
on,
What I'm
man.
come on
saying,
now,
Whatever the
Brandon.
lyrics
what I'm
is,
trying to
that's
tell you is
crazy,
that
bro.
I'm
this,
taking it. I'm
what I'm
taking it.
saying is that this has been going on since
Brandon,
longer than 5 years ago, bro. They had shit like Freaknik. They had everything like that, bro. It's
Brandon.
been, listen,
But it
We're
wasn't made
talking about it
known
more
like that,
because
bro.
there was no internet. There was no
Thank you,
internet.
Brandon. Thank
But that's
That's
what.
you.
But
You
that's the
listen,
just said
point.
it.
It's
You
reaching
just
more
it's
people,
validated it. It
and
was
these
it,
people are,
happening,
it's
but it
reaching.
was
man.
happening behind the scenes. You just validated.
You looking,
So what
You just
look
said
at
my whole
look,
X
look.
factor.
Okay,
You
hold on.
just said my
Even when
whole
you
X
you
factor.
said,
even
you
when
were
you
saying
talking
the
about
songs.
BBL, you talking
No,
about
I said
fake lyrics.
entertainment,
This is
social
the
media,
thing, bro.
X factor, the X
Hmm?
factor.
You got girls who is natural. And this ain't even just for blacks. You got girls who is natural, right? Until they start doing a BBL, where do they get that from? From the media. Where do you get the fake lips from? From the media. So now all these people and all these women who was natural, who was happy with
Bro, take
themselves, are
accountability.
now
They
doing
got it
that.
from they got it from our validation, bro. You
Yes,
can't
I
just
agree
blame
with you on
like it
that.
was our
I agree
validation.
with
Like
you.
y'all niggas, we
I
all
agree with
guilty of that shit. Like we all played the part.
Man.
And how, listen, we all played the part and how these women are right now, bro. And if you think these women just did that on their own without having,
you. No, Brandon,
like,
you're right.
you don't think that we played the part in that, bro? Come on. Be
You're
real.
right,
We
Brandon. You
validated that
ready?
shit. We told
I
them that the
think
BBL was it. We
We
told them
did.
that that's what we wanted because what we
No, no,
did was is we had women that we were with and being good to and that were being good to us, but we were chasing the ones with the BBLs. We were chasing the
exactly.
ones that
We showed them.
was glorifying all this shit. So what I'm saying to you is it's not just the women, bro. Like it came from somewhere. We did that. We did that.
All right,
We
Brandon.
did that. Tip drill videos, bro. We did that.
where does the accountability lie? Or you saying that
Nah,
we're taking accountability for their actions?
Oh no,
I'm asking
no.
listen,
What
you
I'm
Brandon.
saying is, what I'm
because
saying is, the
I'm not.
accountability lies.
Nah, I'm
The
not with that.
accountability lies. Listen, the accountability lies on both sides. But I feel like before we do a bunch of pointing fingers and shit, we got to see where the fuck we started at. Where we started at.
Now where do
Both
we
sides
start
need
at?
to take. Hold on, wait. Both sides
Because
need to
I
take
always like
accountability. But
natural.
hold on,
So I'm asking you,
wait.
where do we start at?
I'm a man. I can't take accountability for what they're doing, or what I take accountability for what I did. What I did to cause
Okay.
that. You get what I'm saying? And like I said, I validated that shit. I was like these women was getting paid off of me liking them, shaking their ass and doing all that shit. Now we don't want to settle down with it. You know what I'm saying? Now we don't
Brandon,
fuck with it.
you
Now it's
just
such a
hit my
problem. But
X.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying, all
Like,
I'm all I'm
That's
thank
saying is
still
you.
it's
media,
been
bro.
like that. It's been
We
like that.
no, Brandon.
But it's
Let
still
me validate
media.
you. Let me validate you real fast. You are 100% correct. We were hitting the like button on BBLs. We were turning our necks when we seen the BBL. We
Um,
was like, oh, she got a nice body. She got. We secretly told
You was
women
leaving
we
your
like
wives
that.
for it. You was
We
cheating on your
secretly
wives for it.
not actively, we secretly, because we were, when we got caught cheating, it was usually a woman probably with a BBL. She gave us a chance. Like we were secretly telling these women this. So I agree with you on Brendan, on that on Brendan. I 100%. My thing is that back then in the 80s, they had more options of entertainment. Like they had, it wasn't only just the Little Kims and the Trina like that was around. You had all the other artists that was actually the love making artists. The art, we don't even know what R&B is right now. We don't even got R&B.
facts.
Like we had other genres that it was actually helping us mold certain people into certain places, into certain human beings, I should say. Because as
That's
a
true.
man, we were like, oh, being a gentleman is great. Oh, put that woman first. You messing up. Put that woman first. Like R. Kelly, these are my confessions. This is what happens if you get
That's
caught
Usher.
cheating. Like you gonna be playing this out. Like we had that. Right now,
And it's
all we
still
have
that.
is no. It's just
No, it's
it's
not,
bitches,
bro.
hoes, and
No,
money.
it's
It's
not.
bitches, hoes, and money.
These females,
I can
bro.
send you some.
You
But go
gonna have
ahead.
to dig. You got to dig through your catalog because at
I
the
don't.
end of the day, right now, when you look at the R&B right now, and you look at the music that's going on, it's really like, oh, we could f around, but it is nothing talking about when we
Because
grew up in the '90s when it comes to R&B, talking about love, talking about putting that woman first, talking about the Dave Hollis, all the music that they was producing that we grew up on listening to, expressing what it is to love, expressing what it is to hurt. Nowadays, it is not that. And if you could tell me an R&B artist right now that you could tell me that's pushing that music out, and I wait because I know it's not none.
Hey Dom, hold on.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Come on, no, 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 no.
I got
Man,
a
I'm
prime
waiting
example.
because it's
Dom,
different, bro. The music nowadays and compared to the is different. What they're pushing out, and it may not even be us because we know it's higher powers that's pushing certain music out because they're trying to
it's
reach
them.
certain things. I understand that, but at the same time, the music is different, bro. The
Dom,
music is different.
hold on. Let me say something to Brandon real quick. I'm gonna use a prime example. I was out
Mm.
at this event in Columbus. I was just out, and I met I seen a woman. I was like, "Hey, let me go say hi." We went to school together. You know, she was pretty cool. I was like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a minute." So we had a conversation. You know, the third to fourth question she asked me was, "Are you 100% guy or are you a 50-50 guy?" And I'm like, so we digging into finances? Like I haven't seen you in like 12 years. She's like, that's not digging into finances, just figuring out what type of guy you is. And I'm sitting there like, the only way you're gonna ask this is because social media is pushing out like, I need a guy to take care of all my bills, a guy to do that. And I just told her, I said, look me up. Like, just look me up. Like we shouldn't even be having this conversation because like if you would have did your since you know who I am and we went to school together and you've been following me, you should know who I am and what I can do. And I said, it just really depends on the situation. It
That
depends on the person. Like, I'm not, like, I don't mind being a 100% guy. I don't mind being a 50-50 guy, but it just depends on who you, if you're dating a judge, like, and you gonna be like, I'm gonna pay 100% of the bills. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm like, your judge probably make more money than you. If you dating somebody that owns a freaking $1 billion company, and you gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna pay all the bills, and you ain't making billions of dollars. So it's like it really just depends on the situation. But this new generation is going through the social media and it's like, I want my man to make
you
sure I
don't
pay
think
all.
that's new generation though? You don't
No,
think that's new
it's
generation?
old
Like
generation, but the old
So,
generation subtly worked their way into the 100% bills. They didn't just come up and
my
like, I want you
so
to pay
my
all my bills
No,
down.
nah.
I think
Well,
it's
I
pushed
just know
more.
when.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, B. I think it's the same. It's not the concept is still the same. I'm with you on that. What I'm saying is compared to now, you got to remember we grew up in an age where it wasn't as much social media. Now everything is being pushed. Everything. So when it comes to that, to
So
just on what he go ahead.
where the whole like where the whole like where y'all think the whole like 50-50 shit came from? Is from the internet, you think? Like because as far as I can remember, you know what I mean, when my elders were together, like it was no such thing as 50-50 or 100-100. My
Exactly.
granddad or my uncle, he paid the fucking bills. Like that
Exactly.
wasn't the issue.
Exactly.
That wasn't the problem. That wasn't the question. Like I'm trying to figure out when did that become a question. I'm 100% motherfucker.
Social
So yeah,
media.
even if you do got you a Bentley and you own a boutique and we get in together, yeah, I'm definitely gonna look for something that I can afford by myself because that's my game plan. Now, if you see something different and you like, nah, babe, I'm gonna take care of this. All right, but just understand in the beginning, that's me. I'm paying that. That's what I do
Situation. It's
for when I'm
situation.
there.
It's
You know what I'm
situational. That's
saying?
what
But
I'm
yeah,
saying.
but I mean, I don't know what the whole like 50-50 thing came about
It's a
because
So
new
it's a
generation.
hundred.
let me ask you this, and I want you to chime in, Lawrence. 'Cause I know we've been going. Well, let me ask you this: do you think the 50-50 and the 100-100, or whatever that scenario is, came from women? And what I mean by that is when it comes to the guys, whether it was rap, pretty much objectifying women as an object. So where I'm gonna give you money for sex, I'm gonna give you that, and I'm paying for a lifestyle to where they're used to. Okay, it's 50-50, or he's paying this. Because like you said, back in the day, that wasn't a thing. Whereas now is a thing. And I'm saying, is it something that was pushed for women that women are doing nowadays? Or did it come from us doing something and now they're feeling like that's their thing? What is
No,
y'all
it
take on
can't.
that?
No, it came from women getting their own shit. When they when they when they get to the point and when they at the point where they don't need, like, what would I need you for? That's the same way we look at women sometime. At this, like, what do I need you for? Women look at us the same way. That's how that came about. Because I mean, like, if I don't need you, if I can pay my own bills and all this shit, yeah, I do want to know if you're gonna go 50-50. Because if you're not, then I really just gotta like you at this point because you're not doing nothing for me. But most of this shit is transaction based anyway. At this point,
So let me let
relationships
me
are
let me
transactions based.
let me ask you this, because it brings up a good point.
It's
Do
not
you
your
think,
girls,
because
it's your time.
do you think back in the day, because it was 100% for the guys, and also let's just be real, some of the men was cheating on a woman back then and they couldn't go nowhere. So do you think nowadays it's more so women trying to take back their power, and as far as earning power, as far as, okay, I don't need a man, and now either you're gonna do this or that?
Do I feel like they're taking back their power? Oh, I can't answer that one, bro. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just feel like if you can't, like, people operate in the "what have you done for me lately" type thing. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't match what I'm doing or go above what I'm doing, like, and that's on both sides. A lot of men start to feel that way, and that's why they come up with that. Men, we know our worth now because, yeah, if you can't match what I'm doing, I can cook for myself, I can clean, I can wash my clothes, I keep my career, like I could do all that for myself. So if you're not, what I mean, if you're not bringing something extra to the table, then what be the point? That's where I think the difference is, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like we don't need each other, and we need each other more than what you may fucking want to talk about or want to address. You get what I'm saying? I need a woman
Mhm.
more than one ways, and I may be able to address to you right now. You get what I'm saying? But until, like I said, until we understand that, until we have a better understanding of each other, it's always going to be this whole division, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you don't understand that I need you, even though I can cook, I can clean, I could pay my own way, I make my own money, I can pay my own bills, I can do all that. If you don't, if I can't find a need for you, you know what I'm saying? What's the point? Yeah, I should be out here just doing whatever the hell I want to. I don't have to check in. I don't have to do all that. You know what I mean? Like, we do that shit because we want to.
So back to my point. So you, Brandon and Dom, y'all have made that social media entertainment is starting to push a lot of these narratives. That's what I'm hearing from you guys. Is that even though back in the day we didn't have the access to it. They had the freak neeks, the freaks off, the booty popping dance, the damn near naked. They had all that stuff going on still back in the day. But the thing is, it was
No
not being
cameras.
recorded and posted. So and what I'm hearing is that the social media, back to my question, the social media entertainment is pushing this narrative that the young generation think is supposed to be the lifestyle. Correct me if I'm wrong.
we just gotta take. I just think we gotta take accountability for the monsters we created, bro. Like, I mean, like, you ask who's taking accountability for that shit. It needs to be. We need to take accountability for the monsters we created, bro. Just that simple, bro. Like, it is, like, social media does push it out a whole lot faster and a whole lot quicker, but you know what I'm saying? The outcome has still been the same. Whether it was through social media or whether it was back in the day, like, the outcome is, like, it's still been the same. So I don't
Lawrence,
just
you want to share?
automatically like, I don't just give all the credit to media and social media on that shit. I just can't, because I was
But
seeing, because I
we
grew up
said
in both
no.
eras.
But we said no. We said it's mixed. It's not just that. It's a mixture of
Right,
both.
right.
Yeah,
Have you
because
guys
I'm
seen the
sorry, guys. I'm having
Joneses?
technical difficulties. I'm sorry.
Are you good?
we violated BBLs. You're right. Like our secretly looking, our secretly liking, or all that stuff has validated that people that we like BBL. So women went and got it. So yeah, I say we got to take accountability too. So I concur. Go ahead,
Have,
Lawrence. My
have,
bad. We've been going.
What did you want me to speak on?
no,
A generation.
I
So
do.
Lawrence, you can talk about it because
So
you.
one thing that I do want to comment on is the 50-50 100% thing. Um, Back when our parents, me and my wife just had this conversation yesterday, literally just yesterday. Back with our parents' generation, grandfather, fathers, but those previous generations where it was 100% on them. They were taking care of every single thing. So you had the women at home, doing the things at home, and our grandparents and things like that were going out, making all the money, doing everything. The one thing that we can't forget is that was a different time. My wife, even she said that to me yesterday. It was a different time. They lived a certain way. They might have had food on the table. They might have made ends meet, but they wasn't paying for like these high security systems we got, internet, Wi-Fi, insurance being as high as it is, the kind of cars we drive, we going out to restaurants and eating like we do. So they were literally going and, living. I won't say it was check to check, because a lot of our grandparents, they saved, they had good incomes, but the cost of living was so much lower that it was easy for a one income household. It was easier for that back then, to live off a one income household with the way things were. Nowadays, if you choose to live off one income, you're not going to live. I couldn't live in the house we live in right now, off of one income. It's just not going to happen. We met each other. We lived in an apartment. She had her apartment. I had my apartment. Yes, I could afford that, pay my own stuff, do my own thing. But that was too small for both of us. Her apartment was too small for, both of us. So, hey, we got to move in together. We got to pool our stuff. I think oftentimes what happens with the women wanting men, like you say, that young lady asked you that question. It's this thing of, I want it to be the way it was back in my parents' time and generation, or my grandparents' generation, and have my own. It's that mentality. It's that I want my own. I want to be able to take care of myself, but I still want you to do all of this and live the kind of lifestyle I want to live. Virtually impossible unless you making, well into six figures, and I think that has to be taken into account. And then, I taught this class to some guys several years ago. I worked at this place in Los Angeles, and we were talking about the 50-50, 100% concept. I said, really what it boils down to is, what do you mean by 50-50, 100%? If you're just talking about finances, then, okay, if you're saying that it's that the relationship has to, because some guys like the relationship has to be 50-50. Well, finances isn't the only thing that makes up a relationship. It's the taking care of the house. It's the cooking. It's the cleaning. It's the bills. It's all of those things. Right. So, we can say our parents were 100%, our fathers back then were 100%.
I was strictly talking about finances at that point in time. I get what you mean.
Financially. But the wife was,
grandma was 100% too.
Yeah, they were cleaning. They were doing this. They were shopping. They were putting food. So really, it was a 50-50 household. He contributed the financial part. She contributed the management of the household part. That is 50-50. Mm-hmm. But I think what happened nowadays is it got to this thing of, okay, it's all about the finances, being 50-50, 100%. I mean, I wash clothes, I wash dishes, take the trash out, I do all of these things, but we both contribute, there's bills that I paid that are my responsibility. There's bills that she pays that are her responsibility. There's bills that we have separate that are like my car payment, my insurance, but she has a portion or a percentage of the rent, or I'll have a portion or a percentage of it. The internet and the electricity, so it just depends on the circumstance, and it depends on the thing. For me, it's whatever you agree to that works for both of you when you come into this situation with the person is what should work, because if you want to live the way you want to live, and you want to, I love the kind of car that I have, but hell, with my insurance and my note, I pay almost $1,000 a month, and it's like, but this is the life. So would I be able to do all of that and pay 100% of all of it? Nope. Ain't no way.
And not all
ain't no way unless we get a smaller place.
And not all the time you're going to be, 100, bro. Like it's a give or take thing. It's not a 50-50 thing to me, because if you're looking at it 100, 50-50, if I'm 70, I might need you to come with that 30, or if I'm, if I'm 30, I might need you to come with that 70. You know what I'm saying? So it's not it's all just like you said, it's what works for you, you know what I'm saying, in that aspect of like 50-50. But it's just like, I think relationships, I think we should all strive for 100. But if we cannot do 100, you know what I mean, and you have that partner, I feel like it is part of your partner's responsibility to pick that part up. Now, I ain't saying hold your hand through nothing or nothing like that. But there are going to be days where you're not 100. You might be 70. You might be 50. She got to carry the other 50. You know what I mean? And that's with
Hmm.
bills. That's with household things, setting appointments, doing things with the kid. Like like it's a give and take thing, bro. Like
Hmm.
like it's a it's a door that should be revolving and it should constantly go. Like it should never stop. So like I said, even if I'm pushing, what I'm saying, this door a little faster than you and you keeping up, or if I slow it down and we got to get back up to pace, that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be, that door should never lose its pace, bro. That's how I feel about a relationship and living together and merging things together. So whether it's the car notes or anything like that, or you know what I mean, like, yeah, you take care of you, I'm gonna take care of you so you can take care of me.
Hmm.
That's how I
Okay,
feel about
fine.
that. Now, whether that's finances or just making sure you don't have to worry about shit. Just make sure you're protect, whatever that looks like to you or to me, bro. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
and I can tell you, I sometimes my manly pride get in it, and I wish that I could do everything 100%. Oh yeah, I would love to do it where she don't have to worry
Yeah,
about a thing.
for sure.
Yes, 100%. But we have to look at the reality, and she points that out to me. She's like, "Listen, I know this is what you want to do. This is how you want to do it, but it's not our reality." You know, so this is the way it is. And so but it's healthy. It's healthy having the conversations. With the partners that we have, and of course, we can't go into that with anybody. It's got to be that lifelong partner you committed to.
Hmm.
And that's the way it is. But I'm that way even with I was that way even with girlfriends. Like, hey, matter of fact, she had a key to my place before we even moved in together. Like, hey, here, this is a key. You ain't got to call. Just pop up. But that's because I was, that's where my mindset was. Like, hey,
Nah, call
you're
me.
my, you're my person. You're my person, and I know that I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life. This was after a
That's
week. We met on Facebook dating. In 2022, and here we are.
that's
You know, uh, but I think it's that we have the desire, and I think that's really what women want to see in us anyway, is that desire, the ambition, the the motivation to want to be a provider. And a provider isn't just financially. I'm going to provide you guidance. I'm going to provide you leadership. You know, um, and that's what it is. My wife is very, very successful. I mean, she's one of those upper level managers for PNC Bank. But I bring something to her that no other man has ever been able to bring to her. That spiritual leadership, that spiritual guidance, that ability to be able to uh, listen to her and offer, the advice and the conversation that she's always wanted. And she does the same for me. I've never had a partner that was a manager. I've been a supervisor, manager, program director, and many different things. I've been high level positions all my life, and I've never been able to have the kind of conversations with a partner that I can have with her. Hey, I got this person. They're doing this. Do I put them on a performance improvement plan, corrective action plan? Do I do this? And we can have them conversation. She comes to me. Hey, I'm about to hire this person. Should I start them at 170,000 a year, or should I start them at 150,000 a year? So then we're having these questions on, okay, well, what are their this? What is this? What is that? I think you should start them in the middle. Maybe give them 130,000. And offer them a signing bonus or something. And we're able to have those conversations, and it's wonderful. But she is, like Brandon said, she is the epitome of the strong Black woman. And when she get it, there are those times where she'll say certain things, and I'll be like, whoo, somebody told her a while back, it's gonna take a special man to be with you. And and when we have our certain little thing, they say, you pray for me. You wanted somebody that could stand up to you. You wanted somebody that's funny and humorous. You wanted somebody that was intelligent. You got it. So, but I do agree. I didn't mention it before, but I do agree with Brandon Warner saying it does take a strong man to be with a Black woman. Especially an intelligent, and she could support both of us. But that's not how we live. And I don't choose to be that way. I've never been the kind of person, I ain't never relied on a woman. I ever, and I never will. But I do rely on my partner, to be able to share the load with me so that it's not a burden on both of us or one of us. It's easy. Even when we moved in together, I was like, okay, what was your rent? What was my rent? Now, if we move in together and I reduce my portion to this percentage, you reduce your portion to this percentage, it still makes it easier on both of us, and we've got extra money because we're both paying less than what we paid separately. Which means her percentage is higher than my percentage. But we based it on income. We based it on what will make our lives easier. But then, the other bills that I pay kind of offsets all that. But, and I think that there's nothing like a woman. I'm not even going to make it a race thing. I'm not even going to say, because I do have the way I feel about black women. And I did when I was a kid. I said I'll never marry any woman but a black woman. But women are women. And we do have to take accountability for what we subliminally inserted into the psyche of women with the Freakniks and the VBLs and all of that. There is a level of accountability. It's just like we talk about slavery. Even though none of these, white people living now were a part of that back then, we want them to have a level of accountability, towards what happened to us. And that's the same thing with what happened with the Freakniks and all of that. There is a level of responsibility for not only us liking it and doing it, but also a level of responsibility for the Trinas, the little Kims, because they pushed a lot of that type of bad. We talk about bad boys, bad girl image, So there's this level of responsibility with that too. But the way we change it now, or the way we try to have an impact on it now, I won't say change, but have an impact on working towards change, is to validate the non-BBL women, to validate the women that aren't twerking, everywhere.
The Alicia Keys.
Yeah, to validate intelligence. If there is a fear, like Brandon was mentioning, the way men are today, especially a lot of black men. Yes, you got the gay, you got this, you got all of these other little weird things going on. I see stuff, I'd be like, ain't no way in the world that I just don't believe some of the stuff I see. But we just, it's being strong, it's being able to, that's the bad boy part that the women like. It's that strong part. It's that man that can say, no, this is what it is. It's not that they want the bad boy and the bad, to kind of bring it circle back on it. It's not so much that the bad, the good guy finishes last. It's that a lot of women want to know that, you are assertive enough to stand your ground and deal with their BS and be able to, and I don't want this to sound negative, but put them in their place, so to speak. And I don't mean, checking them or, I'm your dad kind of thing, but just to know that my man is strong, my man is, capable of loving me the way I need to be loved. Because everybody's got a love language. Everybody's got a love language. And I'm constantly having to remind myself of my wife's love language. Like, okay, I'm doing this. I gotta, because she'll remind me, hey, you're not, we talked about this, you're not doing this. Please, you remember that this is what I need. And I have to remind myself, like, hey, let's go. Let's talk about it, But, it's different. Internet's different. They have things that's pushed in everybody's face. Social media is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because we can get on platforms like this and put out a positive message or have a mutual dialogue, even disagreeing. But it's also that curse, and all of the negative stuff still gets pushed out there to everybody also, and we're competing for attention. We're competing for attention to be able to, how many people can we reach? The more people that we reach, the more they'll get they'll hear these conversations. The more men will benefit, the more women will benefit. The more couples, children will benefit from hearing, these things. But it's like it says, I'm here and I have my opinions, but I'm open enough to listen.
Anyone have their last final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, sir. I'm good to go, man. It was a great conversation today, fellas. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, I'm all good. I don't want to stir the pot anymore. I mean, we got plenty like I mean, we got plenty to talk about. It's a lot of accountability we got to take as black men on our behalf to
Hmm.
try to
Hmm.
make things right, and it not go just be the four of us that could change the whole community, but we could start one at a time.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I concur. I think this was good, but I think we also hit on a lot of different, different topics from a male's perspective. I think it would be good to, we might have to one day get a woman in here to be able to speak on, when it comes to what they think of a good man. I mean, a good guy is or a
Hmm.
bad guy is, because we're
Hmm.
just looking at it from our perspective, and even when it comes to the accountability part. So
Hmm.
until next time, this has been Open Up to Listen. Appreciate you guys. Like, comment, share, and let us know what you think. Have a
Hey.
blessed one.